Hi, Eric.
Hello, I'm on the bus, so it will be slightly noisy when I unmute, but I will listen in.
Cool. Thanks for joining anyways. Let's wait a couple of minutes to see more will be joining. Okay, it's very fast. I guess possibly it's the two of us today.
Yeah.
So Emil is on PTO. So yeah, let's get started. I added in the agenda for August the 1st, the presentation from Fidelity, as they confirmed they will be available on that date. So looking forward to that. Yeah, for the agenda for today, a couple of things, action items from last meeting. We had like Ola to provide a link to more info about the budget. Yeah, but Ola is not here. I think. Yeah, we don't have that link, but yeah, so as we discussed last time, we have this budget still available to see the events that we can decide how to spend. And last time we discussed about professional doc editor or reviewer, and the other idea was to create a visualization tool, which was the other action. So I created an issue today under SIG events about this. Just show it briefly. It's basically the idea is a tool to visualize the events. And the reasoning is that the way we develop the specification is we do it through proofs of concept and demos. We connect multiple tools together via CD events. And during the demo, it's often challenging to visualize the progress and overall flow because of the distributed nature of the event-based architecture. So I think it would be useful to have a front-end tool to visualize the events that are sent over time and the relationship between them where available. So I mean, the tool would pull the events from some kind of storage, allow filtering based on some CD event field, and also allow to display connection based on some customizable CD event field, like we have links at some point. We could use links if you want to show connection between all the events that share the same subject of the year or the same whatever specific field that would allow us to visualize the data better. So that was my my idea. If you have any comment too.
I think that would be really helpful, and also for like debugging your own messages that you send. Because like are the messages I send, do they like link together or belong together in a way that makes sense?
Just add a comment. Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's all I think of the options from previous meetings. Sorry, I don't know if it's my laptop or my Zoom, whatever, it's acting a bit slowly. Okay. Yeah, next I added in the agenda updates from other groups. I don't have any specific update to provide from TOC or other SIGs. I don't know if there is anything on your side. Eric.
Oh, I've seen some activity in their respective Slack channels, but I haven't really followed it up too closely. I don't really have anything.
Okay, sounds like a no. Okay. Yeah, the next thing I had there was the Jenkins Cloud Events, the CDN plugin transformation that we have in the agenda from last time as a follow-up. But yeah, I guess this will be a good item to discuss when we have Fidelity folks in the meeting, as this is something that they're looking into, working on. So the idea is that last summer in GSOC, we had this cloud event support added to Jenkins Pro plugin. And yeah, so it would be useful to have a similar system, but for CD events. And yeah, so that's something that the Fidelity team is interested in looking into. Hopefully, we can get some updates next time.
Yeah.
Finally, the last thing I had on the agenda, I wanted just to mention that about the community repo for the city events project. So I think this came up a few times, again and again. So I was planning to just go ahead and create it over the summer, create the repo, start moving over relevant docs that we may have, and update the links on the website where we create like community issues, point to the community repo. And so then when we work on creating the government docs for the project, we can do it directly there.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, anecdotally, I don't know how to pronounce that, but today is the warmest or hottest day ever recorded in Wales history.
Oh, nice.
Which is, I think, 34 degrees Celsius, which is not so bad, but for here it's very hot. It seems that my laptop is suffering the heat. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm having some issues hearing you very clearly, but it's okay. Can you hear me at all? Or is it blocking from your side?
Yeah, anyways, I don't have anything else for today to bring up. There is a I can hear you now, yeah.
Seems to be an enormous delay in the audio.
Not anymore. But
No,
I could hear you asking.
Yeah, the only two things I had to bring up, and I apologize for the background noise, is it's not really for this meeting, but the progress is happening on the Python SDK. The idea is to first bring it up to par with the Go SDK. So it will essentially be exactly the same as the Go SDK. And then later on, we can evolve the Python SDK from there. So it will have a CLI that works exactly the same as the Go SDK, and it will also have a library component that can be used from other applications. So that's one thing. The other thing I wanted to mention, I haven't checked the schedule exactly, but I think the schedule is announced for the Open Source Summit, which means that we can announce that we are presenting at the Open Source Summit. That's my understanding, at least.
Yes. Yes. Looking forward to it. So, and thanks for the update. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to take notes. Okay. I'm offline again.
I think I can hear you all the time, Andrea, but sometimes it sounds a little bit like, yeah, like your computer is completely overloaded.
Yeah, it's showing my CPU is completely off the roof. But usually when that happens is because if the computer is overheating, it kind of starts like a virtual process that says it occupies all CPU, so it basically forces the computer to slow down or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But yeah, I'll add your updates.
I can do it myself as soon as I get to a computer, which would be in 5 minutes. So don't worry about that.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, so no, it's great to see the updates on the Python SDK. I hope we will be able to start working with the 4Keys team as well soon. I created a channel in our Slack, in the City Foundation Slack, and that's the event for keys that we can use for conversation there. Yeah, and I'm waiting for the folks from the project to join in so we can start the conversation. But yeah, also for that, I think the Python SDK it's great to have. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing, maybe from my side at least, reminder that there is a city events meeting on Wednesday morning. Yeah. So it's the alternate time meeting.
Yeah, I will try to join this week. Maybe I can present a little bit about the Python SDK. Then I forgot about it last time. So yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Does the time generally work for you?
Yes, it's generally fine.
So I have a question. What state is the Python SDK in?
Right.
The current state of the Python SDK is that it's.
Great rest of the day.
I think Andrea is on a super high delay. I've actually delegated the work for the SDK to a colleague of mine, and he demoed it earlier today. So the current status is that from a CLI perspective, it can do pretty much the same thing as the Go SDK. So it is possible to integrate it in like scripts and stuff. But from a library perspective, there is some stuff missing. And also it doesn't have too many like unit tests, and we need to pass some linting checks and stuff like that. But I will try to add a link to the current state to this these meeting notes so that anyone who's interested can look into it. But yeah, as far as an SDK is concerned, I would say there's quite a lot of work left. But I would also say that the Go SDK also has a bit of work left. So they will pretty soon be on par, I think.
So I'd be interested in helping. I don't have ton of time, and I'm new to the group, so I'm like, this is all pretty new to me. But we built our own in-house event system using the cloud event spec. So I have a lot of familiarity with that stuff, and I am versed in Python and Go, so I'd be very interested in helping out.
Yeah.
But I've jumped into CD events and I'm looking at the SDK Python, but I'm not seeing the I'm not seeing a branch that's got active work on it. Am I looking in the right place?
I would have hoped the answer is yes, but the answer is no. My colleague who I delegated out the work to, he forked the repository. So I will add a link to his fork.
Okay.
So the idea is that we can then merge it in like a review branch or something like that for the Python SDK repo in CD events.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd like to get involved, but I need some baby steps, you know,
Yeah.
A couple of good first issues, maybe some doc work. And I'm fine with all of it. I don't, you know, I don't think you write software without writing tests and doc to go with it. So.
No, absolutely. So that is definitely stuff that we want to have. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the proper way forward, but I'm planning to talk more about. I was going to say the CD events meeting on Wednesday, but that's a very unfortunate time for anyone in the US. So
yeah,
there's a meeting Tuesday next week, which is should be a better time. So I think the idea is that we will have roughly the same agenda on both those meetings, because one is for Asia and one is for the US, and then we have Europe in the middle somewhere, I think.
Okay.
That's my understanding. But I will at least add some notes to this HackMD meeting. Yeah. Yes, I guess that's it about the status of the Python SDK for now.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. And yeah, welcome, Brett. And sorry, my computer is totally killing me today, and I didn't manage until recently to even open the participant list, and didn't realize you and Kara joined today. So welcome to the meeting. Sorry about that. Also, you mentioned, Brett, that you've done implementation based on cloud events in your organization. I just wanted to mention, in case that's something that you're interested to showcase, feel free to schedule to put a demo in our schedule. And it's always interesting for us to, as a group, to learn about cloud-based setup. So just let us know if that's something that you think it would be interesting.
Yeah. My original intent was to open source a bunch of it, but our timelines were so short that I didn't have time to, you know, properly set up the projects to be open sourced. And now some internal stuff has creeped in that I need to go rip out before I can open source any of the code. So, and anybody who works at a big company that's not super open source friendly will know what I'm talking about. It's not that we're not friendly, it's that the company as a whole isn't used to open source. So, but yeah, and then also I started on this 3 years ago. So a lot of this stuff that you guys are doing didn't exist yet, or was still really new. So I'm excited. So I think this is a great project, and wish we'd have done it 3 years ago, so I didn't have to do it myself in-house.
Cool. Yeah. No, it's great to have you in the team, right? So thanks again, and then looking forward to your collaboration and your expertise.
Cool. I wish I had more time. Unfortunately, in my current position, I am inundated with work constantly, and you know, I spend a lot of time leading other teams to get and we're moving to GitHub Actions and moving to GitHub, and it's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine.
we've got thousands of repos and still have CVS in house, and yeah, and we got like three different Git implementations. We got Git-a-Lite, Garrett, and GitLab plus CVS. So it's like wrangling cats. It's pretty interesting. We've got tons of Jenkins stuff that we're converting over. And then we've got the CI/CD event-driven receipt system that we kind of tacked on to all this older stuff in the middle of it. So it's even more fun. So anyway, yeah, I got to get a talk together that makes sense for the different SIGs I've joined. I need one for each SIG, because like you guys will be interested in the event pieces of it, but you're probably not as interested in the securing the supply chain pieces. So I'm hoping the other SIGs, I'll get to talk about security in one of the other SIGs. So
sure. Even though I have to say that that's an area that might be relevant as well. I mean, I've been thinking about having some events at least associated with some of the security features, like for artifacts, about like having artifacts signed and this kind of events, or SBOM generated. So it would be interesting as well.
Yeah. So when I started this 3 years ago, and we defined out what we were going to do for our events, we basically took the cloud spec, and in the center of it, we tacked in a CNAB spec. And my intent was to use the CNAB spec to replay all the actions that we recorded in the events. And had I thought ahead at that time and signed those JSON blobs, with a cryptographical signature, I would have had signed provenance already, and I'd be a heck of a lot closer to SALSA level 4 than I am. So, but I mean, that's some of the stuff that I'm pretty interested in, and it would be very interesting to see if we could add something like that into the spec. Now I have to go read the spec your new spec a couple of times and familiarize myself with it before I go suggesting things. But anyway, cool stuff.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting, and I think there are a couple of like two main use cases that we are trying to target, and one is more of like interoperability between different CI/CD systems through events, and the other one is more like collecting data about what the CI/CD systems are doing with a standard specification about the format, so that you can collect metrics and all this kind of information, like DevOps metrics. But I think specifically for the first use case, like being able to trust the event would be quite interesting, because if you're sending an event and you're using that event as a source of information to decide to run another pipeline or take some action, then yeah, you may need to be able to trust that event, depending on what is it that you're doing. So it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we do all of our stuff's run off Kafka, and the only thing that can talk to the topic that everyone's listening to is the source of the truth. So we got a service, and it auths to that topic, and that topic is basically locked down. No one else can put anything on it. And then it's, so the robot's generating the messages, which means that you can almost trust the messages. What you can't trust right now is who posted the event to the service that created the event. So, and that's something we're working on. We're adding OIDC auth to the service. Well, we already have added OIDC auth. The problem's integrating it with a bunch of old stuff that doesn't do OIDC auth. But basically, we lock down the service with OIDC, and then once we get that done, you can trust who created the event, because the you had to prove you were who you said you were with OIDC before you could post your receipt. So anyway, I think I should get it. I'll get a talk together if I can. Try not to make it too long. And see what we can do.
Yeah, that would be great.
The CD events meeting on Wednesday, is that going to be like 11? I mean, for American time, US? Is it like 3 your time, or what time is it your time?
So the meet on Wednesday, I think it's probably like 3 o'clock in the morning US time, depending on what coast you're on. But the one on Tuesday is a lot better. The one on Tuesday is at like 7, 8, or 9 in the morning, depending on where in the US you are, I think.
Okay, it'll be 7 for me because I'm on the East Coast, I guess.
No, East Coast should be better. West Coast is worse.
Oh, it'd be 9. Okay, cool. I can go to that one. It's good.
Do you have access to the calendar?
Yeah, I do. I need to go.
Okay, cool.
So I have to work in 2 different browsers because all the stuff that I'm doing with you guys uses my outside GitHub account, and all the stuff I'm doing internally uses my single sign-on GitHub account, which isn't allowed outside of my enterprise. So I got to always find the browser. Anyway, silliness.
Sounds fun.
Firefox has a nice plugin called multi-account containers that help me with that. Basically, it allows me to open one tab with a completely different set of cookies and accounts and all that stuff. It's kind of nice. So I'm working for like 3 different companies, and I have my personal stuff, but I can just put them in different containers, and I don't have to switch browsers. But I do need to remember to open the right tab.
Yeah, now that's I've been meaning to install that, but just haven't gotten around to it.
It's
yeah,
quite nice once you get used to it.
All right. Okay, I've added that to my calendar. This is awesome. Now, I'm assuming this meeting's small because it's vacation season, or is it just we're just getting started here?
It's probably going to be a bit smaller than usual, but yeah, the vocabulary meeting is usually not that big to begin with. It's somewhere between like 3 and 6 people maybe.
Cool.
All right. Anything else for today, folks?
I don't have anything
from my side.
Okay, then let's close early. Thanks everyone for joining. And yeah, good to meet you. Nice to meet you, Brett. And yeah, looking forward to our next meeting.
Yep, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet all of you.
Same to you. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.